All right, heroes, we are back. You have made it to lesson 7, the culmination of everything you've learned so far. You've learned a ton in the span of the last 4 or 5 or 6 hours of these lessons and videos. You could have gone from someone that was struggling in the market. You've gone from someone who was a little bit timid to someone who now knows how to be right 95 times out of 100, who now knows how to make money if the market doesn't go their way, who now knows how to know exactly how far any stock can go up or down in any given amount of time. You know so much more than hedge fund managers, than institutional investors, than day traders. You know so much more than everyone else. And now we're going to take all of those ideas as well as buying stocks for a discount. We're going to add them all together and we're going to show you exactly how to beat the market by 42%. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine beating the market by 42%? What that would do to your life? That's just amazing. And what's funny is the way we're going to show you how to beat the market by 42% is by buying stocks for a discount. So again, this whole Options Hero course started out with a big speech from me how investing isn't really as confusing as they make it out to be. And Wall Street does that so that they can eventually have you throw in the towel, have you hand over your money to them, and they charge you fees every single year. And the truth is, it's not that expensive. It's not that complicated. We just showed you in the last lesson how easy it is to buy stocks for a discount. You buy 100 shares and you sell one call for every share you have. That reduces your cost basis, that allows you to buy stock for a discount, and it gives you better than 50-50 chance of making money. Plain and simple. Now, we're going to show you how to utilize that strategy at the right time. Again, it's a strategy that you know that you were just able to do, and if you were a little bit confused by it, please go back to the last lesson or email me at steven@stonybrook-securities.com. Either way, we're going to show you how to beat the market by 42% by buying stocks for a discount. So, we mentioned this a little bit in the last lesson, but what is a covered call? Now, that's the examples we were showing as a way to be able to buy stock for a discount. So, we purchase or own 100 shares of stock, and we're able to sell one call for every 100 shares of stock to cover our position, right? And the agreement is such. When we sell a call against our stock, we agree to sell 100 shares of stock at the strike price of the call we sold. If the stock is above our strike price, what is the stock being above our strike price? That is the call that we sold being in the money. Okay? Now, if nothing happens, we keep the stock and the credit we receive from selling the call, and we go along our merry day. Right? So, to be able to show you exactly how to beat the market by 42%, we did 2 studies, okay? So here's the first study. From 2005 to the end of 2016 in SPY. Why did we do this in SPY? Well, there are 2 reasons. Number 1, it's the most liquid product in the world. Remember one of our lessons, liquidity is the most important. The better liquidity, the more competition there are for your order and shares and options contracts, the better prices we're going to get. Not only the better prices we're going to get, but the better statistics around probabilities and expected move and delta, right? So we do this in SPY. Also, the data is really easy to get for this. So that's why I do it too. So there are 3 things we're going to do here. We're going to compare. So we're going to buy 100 shares of SPY, right? We're going to buy 100 shares of SPY. So this is the first trading day of 2005. We're going to buy 100 shares. So we're going to do the normal buy and hold strategy that everyone tells us we should be doing, right? And we're going to hold it till the end of 2016, and we'll see how we do, right? The first covered call strategy, or buying at a discount, is we're going to buy 100 shares of SPY at the beginning of 2005, and we're going to sell one call, the at the money call. So the call closes to 50 deltas, and we're going to sell that call in the expiration cycle 50 days from that current date, right? And when that option expires, we're going to just do it again and again and again and again over the course of 11 full years, right? So we're doing those 2, and then we're comparing it to this third strategy, which we're buying 100 shares of SPY, and we're selling a 30 delta call every 50 days. Now, real quick, let's see how much you were paying attention. Buying 100 shares, right? Buying 100 shares is a 50-50 shot, right? If we buy 100 shares and we sell 130 delta call, right? What are the chances we make money when we sell that 30 delta call, right? If you don't know this, you need to watch this entire course again. The answer is 70, right? There's a 30% chance. A 30 delta call means there's a 30% chance SPY is going to finish above that strike or in the money, right? So the opposite of that is 70%. There's a 70% chance the option is going to finish out of the money. When we sell options, right? Remember, we're buying 100 shares and we're selling a 30 delta call. We want we want the option to finish out of the money, right? So we want SPY to finish below the strike price of the strike of that 30 delta call, right? So we have a 70% chance of making money when we sell a 30 delta call, right? Now, so this is what we did. Again, we did this from the beginning of 2005. We either bought 100 shares, we bought 100 shares and sold the at the money 50 delta call every 50 days, or bought 100 shares and sold the 30 delta call every 50 days, right? And here are the results. Remember, the goal of this study and the next one is to show you how to use the strategies of covered call, buying stocks for a discount, and probabilities of delta to be able to beat the market by 42%. Here we go. Here are the results of the three that we just went over. So I'm going to go from left to right. If you went ahead and bought SPY, you made about $8 grand, 100 shares. That's great. Give me $8 grand. I'd love that. Now, if we bought SPY and sold at the money, the 50 delta call every 50 days, we made the same $8,075 from the stock. And all of the short calls together, all of the calls that we sold together, the at the money calls, only netted us an additional 11 bucks. Only an additional 11 bucks, right? So buying SPY and selling the at the money call against it every 50 days had the same result, right? Had the same result. Neither were better. But however, on the right side over here, if we bought SPY and sold the 30 delta covered call every month, now we're getting interesting. So we made $8,075 on the stock P&L. However, the profit from selling these 30 delta calls to cover our stock every month, actually this should be every 50 days, excuse me. I'm going to change that right now. If we do that every 50 days, we end up making almost $2,000 more from the credit we're receiving and the profits from selling that 30 delta call every 50 days. That in itself, just selling the 30 delta call every 50 days, gave us a 24% increase in performance. So we beat the market by 24% just by doing a strategy that you know how to do it. So let's go look. How do we do that strategy? Now, what we're looking to do is we're looking to buy 100 shares and sell the 30 delta call. Covered stock, we're going to buy 100 shares, sell the 30 delta call. That's it. And every 50 days, we're going to do that. And doing that over that 11-year period beat the market by 24.19%. Pretty cool. And what's even cooler is, again, that's something you guys know exactly how to do. So what makes it even cooler is, let me ask you a question. What are the chances we make money on this, right? How do we find that out? We want to find the strike price that's closest to our discounted stock price, right? So 245.71 is closest to 246. 246 has a 46% chance of finishing in the money and a 54% chance of finishing out of the money, right? We want the stock to be above 246, so out of the money, right? So rather than having a 50-50 bet, giving yourself a 54% chance makes 24% more profits. Not bad. So that's the first study, right? Now remember, we want to be able to beat the market by 42%. How do we do it? Let's find out. So we did another study, right? Same time frame, same stock. We bought 100 shares of SPY. We bought 100 shares of SPY and sold the at the money call every 50 days. we bought 100 shares of stock and sold the 30 delta call every 50 days. Now remember, selling the 30 delta call gives us a 70% chance of making money on that call, right? And the scenario here and the scenario here, both of these 2 and 3 scenarios allow us to buy SPY at a discount, right? And now we're going to get a little jazz to it. We're going to get a little saucy. Now, bear with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy 100 shares of stock, and we're going to sell that same 30 delta call every 50 days. Rather than just letting it expire 50 days from the time that we sell the 30 delta call, we're going to buy it back, and we're going to sell another call 50 days in the future at that 30 delta strike if the value of that call dipped to 25 cents, right? So just adding a little bit of, panache to it, a little pizzazz to it. But let's see how they did. Now, first, I want to show you exactly what it is. So what I want to show you is this. Imagine we did the covered stock. So we bought 100 shares of stock and sold the 30 delta call, the 250 call. We reduced our cost basis to 245.71, giving us about a 54-55% chance of making money on that, right? But what this is every 50 days we're just going to do this rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But now what we're saying is once this 250 call, if it at some point gets below 25 cents, we want to buy back the 250 call and go to the next expiration cycle, monthly expiration cycle, 50 days in the future, and go ahead and sell a 30 call there, right? What this will allow us to do is just put on more positions. This will allow us to sell more calls over the span of the 11 years. So, how did we do? Well, let's go from left to right again. If you buy 100 shares of stock in that 11-year period, you made about $8,075. Awesome. If you bought, this is wrong again, every 50 days, that's even wrong, every 50 days. Okay, that makes sense. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. We're back. Okay. So left to right, buying just 100 shares of SPY netted you $8,075. Buying SPY and selling the at-the-money covered call every 50 days pretty much did the exact same thing as buying 100 shares of SPY. However, if we bought SPY and sold the 30 delta call every 50 days, we beat the market by 24% because we collected about an extra $2,000 from the premium we received from selling those 30 delta calls. However, drum roll please. I know you guys are looking there because it's in bold, but if we buy SPY, we sell the 30 delta call every 50 days, and when those calls get below, when the value of those calls get below 25 cents, we want to buy it back for 25 cents. And then when we buy it back for 25 cents, we want to go ahead and sell the 30 delta call in the next monthly expiration cycle that's closest to 50 days away. Right? So in doing this, we're just putting on more positions. We're just selling calls more often because rather than just letting them expire and doing this every 50 days, we have a chance to do this a little bit more often, right? Now, instead of making no money, $11, $2,000, we made about $3,500 extra dollars, right? And total, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, in total, you beat the market by 42% over that 11-year period. Just doing the strategy of number one, buying stocks for a discount, and number two, when the value of the call that you're selling to cover your stock gets below 25 cents, you buy it back and immediately sell a call in the next expiration cycle closest to 50 days from that point. That's 30 deltas. So nice and easy. So what are we going to do, right? What are we going to do? Here it is. Here it is. Here's the culmination of the entire thing. How do you beat the market by 42%? You buy 100 shares of SPY. You sell a 30 delta call closest to 50 days from expiring in the monthly expiration cycle. If the value of that call ever gets to 25 cents, you immediately buy that 30 delta call for 25 cents. At that same point, you go ahead and you sell a 30 delta call in the expiration cycle that's closest to 50 days away. And you rinse and repeat that. And what happens when you rinse and repeat that? Let's do this. Here's my font. Here's my, this is going to be bigger. If you rinse and repeat that, you beat the market by 42%. And there you go, folks. There you go, folks. The culmination of all this. So go out there and get in there. Make these trades. You know how to do it. You have the confidence. You want to go ahead and place trades that you're right 95 times out of 100? Go ahead and do that. You want to know exactly how far a stock is going to go in the next 30 days? Go ahead and do that. You want to know how to buy stocks for a discount and what your chances of making money are after you buy for a discount? Go ahead and do that. You want to know how to beat the market by 42%? Now you know. Go ahead and do that. Go out there, take action, and get them.